David describes stepping off the boat onto a desolate, fog-covered island. Everything feels wrong. The air is too still, and even the waves sound distant. The towering structure looms like a watchful eye. Its light flickers unnaturally, as if reacting to David rather than guiding ships. Inside, David finds a half-burned journal belonging to the last lighthouse keeper. Most pages are destroyed except one with a single line. Do not look at them when they call your name. While trying to sleep, David hears his own voice whispering from outside, calling, "David, come see," even though he is alone inside. At dawn, David spots human-shaped figures standing far out in the ocean, motionless in waist-deep water. Watching him, just after sunset, 3 slow knocks echo through the metal door. When he checks, no one is there, but wet footprints lead up the stairs. David finds food containers ripped open, not eaten, dissolved, as if something melted them. His water barrels now taste metallic. More burned pages come loose from the journal, this time with frantic scribbles. They learn your voice. They learn your dreams. While writing in his log, David feels eyes on him. Turning slowly, he sees a pale face pressed against the glass. Smiling too wide, the creatures stop whispering his name. Now they speak in perfect imitation of people from. David spots a distant rescue boat approaching. He fires a flare. The boat pauses, then turns away as if afraid to come closer. Scratching becomes pounding. Something huge crawls across the roof, denting the metal. Screeches blend with human crying among the creatures. One woman-like figure appears repeatedly, not attacking, only watching. She mouths words he cannot hear. Every time David closes his eyes, he dreams of drowning, waking up choking on seawater though completely dry. One morning, the stairs are soaked with seawater, even though the doors remain shut. Something is inside now. The last legible words. There is no surviving, only choosing how you go. He douses the base in oil, but the moment he lights it, the wind dies. The flame goes out instantly, as if the island itself rejected escape. He climbs to the top floor. Through every window, dozens of pale figures stand in the water below, waiting, smiling. They no longer say David. Now they call him Keeper, as if replacing the last one. He speaks directly to the listener, terrified, whispering, accepting there is no escape. His final line fades with wet footsteps approaching the room. Then silence. Even though David didn't touch the controls, the lighthouse beam starts rotating faster, as if signaling something out at sea. Every time the light passes over the ocean, the creatures move closer. Not walking, gliding just beneath the surface. David hears muffled conversations from inside the walls, not whispers anymore, but full sentences. Some sound like military radio codes. Some sound like children laughing. He starts bleeding from the nose, but the blood tastes like seawater. He begins to fear he's changing. Looking into a cracked mirror, he sees someone else's face, waterlogged, pale, smiling. When he looks away, it vanishes. Through the glass, the female creature presses her hand against the window. He hesitates, then lifts his own hand to meet hers. The glass feels warm. From deep below the lighthouse, he hears church bells, muffled and warped, as if an ancient city lies beneath the waves. His journal starts filling with sentences he didn't write, in his own handwriting. Let us in. You belong here. When he opens the tap, instead of water, thick black liquid seeps out, like ink, smelling of rotting fish. He wakes up standing at the door, hand on the latch, though he swears he never moved. The ticking of a clock that doesn't exist. He hears a slow tick. Tick, tick, but there is no clock in the lighthouse. The sound comes from beneath the floorboards, not outside, inside. A tall, thin silhouette passes behind him. He turns. No one is there, as he thinks to himself. He hears his own inner voice echo out loud from different corners of the room. Outside the lighthouse door, he finds a small polished shell. Inside it, a strand of his own hair. The walls begin to groan. The floors vibrate, as if the entire structure is slowly sinking. Under an old rug, a metal hatch leading downward. The air that seeps from it is freezing cold and smells like the ocean floor. He descends into a circular stone room filled with carvings of human figures bowing to sea creatures. At the center, a bowl, throne-like seat made of bone fused with coral, wet, fresh, waiting. The voices now speak clearly. Sit. His knees bend without his permission before he snaps out of it and flees back upstairs, slamming the hatch shut. He finds wet footprints leading to the top floor. She's no longer outside. She's in here. Standing at the corner of the room, her voice sounds human and ancient at the same time. She says only, "It hurts to resist." Dozens of pale figures begin crawling through the windows, their bodies bending unnaturally, water pouring from their mouths. He swings a metal rod. It goes through one of them like mist. They don't bleed. They don't even react. Instead of clawing him, they hold him gently, like welcoming him home. Where they touch him, his skin pales, bubbling like boiling water. He feels his bones shifting. "You were one of us. Before you were born." He tries to scream, but instead of breath, salt water pours from his mouth. Not of escape, not of help. Just one realization. This was never an invasion. It was a return. His final line is barely audible beneath the static and rising water. "If you find this, don't come." Even though David's body is gone, the lighthouse light keeps spinning. But now its glow is dimmer and tinted blue, like it's shining from underwater. Sometimes at night, a human-shaped shadow can be seen inside the glass chamber at the top, standing perfectly still. Days later, a soaked leather-bound journal washes ashore on the nearby mainland. The cover is bloated and warped, yet David's name is still legible. The pages are mostly blank, except for freshly written lines that weren't there before. The ink is not ink, but dried salt. Local officials claim it's just a sailor's drunken ramblings. They refuse to investigate. But one officer notices damp fingerprints on the journal pages, and the scent of seaweed clinging to it, still fresh despite days on land. Not near the island, but miles away near safe harbors where no creature has ever been seen. Human-shaped silhouettes stand in shallow water, motionless, just like David described. Some wear old military jackets. Some have faces turned upward as if listening. Boats vanish without warning. No SOS, no flare. Only radio static filled with faint gurgling sounds like someone trying to speak underwater. Witnesses say they saw hands rising from the water, not grabbing, beckoning. Locals claim the island is no longer waiting for visitors. It's sending scouts, taking people from their own shores. Some say storms now form unnaturally fast around the area, as if something beneath the waves is breathing. A lone traveler reports seeing a pale man standing knee-deep in the surf at dusk, facing away. His clothes matched the uniform of the island keeper. When she called out, he didn't turn. But she heard her own voice answer from beside him. She ran. She never returned. Witnesses from villages miles away report seeing a sweeping beam of blue light passing across their rooftops, even though the lighthouse is too far for that to be possible. Every time the light touches their windows, they hear gentle knocking on the glass. Locked inside a police evidence box, the journal begins filling its pages overnight. Fresh sentences appear, smeared as if scrawled underwater. One line repeats across an entire page. The next keeper is already chosen. One stormy night, the lighthouse goes dark. No light, no rotation. Complete deadness. But across distant coastlines, new lights ignite one by one across abandoned towers, ruins, and sea caves, all pulsing in the same rhythm. Like a heartbeat rising from the ocean, and somewhere deep beneath the waves, David breathes. Without explanation, identical journals with David's handwriting begin showing up on docks, beaches, even inside sealed boats. Each one ends with the same chilling sentence: "If you hear knocking, do not answer." Schools near coastlines report a strange phenomenon, children doodling the same crooked lighthouse in their notebooks. When asked why, they all give the same answer: "He told me to draw it before he comes." Fishermen who refuse to sail now say that when they stand near the water, it calls them by name, but not in human voices. more like gurgling, bubbling echoes coming from below, as if spoken from flooded lungs. Satellite photos capture a strange glow beneath the Atlantic surface, pulsing in steady intervals, like the rotation of a lighthouse beam. Scientists claim it's geothermal activity. Sailors know better. Something is building a lighthouse underwater. One morning, across dozens of shores, words are found carved deep into wet sand. No footprints, no tools. The message is the same everywhere. There will be no land left. Only keepers. And before the tides wash it away, a single wet footprint appears beside it, human-sized, but webbed,